next couple of years, it's easy to say that these midterms don't matter, but the fact of the matter is that on every issue that's important to middle-class Americans, overwhelmingly we're seeing a majority prefer the Democratic option, and us having a Democratic Senate that can present those issues and put them forward, just like they did on immigration, even if the House Republicans fail to act, means that we're debating the right stuff for the country. We're debating the things that are going to help us grow.
This wouldn't be Meet the Press if I didn't have a chart with me. Your year of action on the State of the Union.
Yeah.
And it's a little small here. It'll be bigger for the television
viewers.
Yeah,
you're going to make it a bigger.
I will. Yeah, there you go. A lot not accomplished here. The one thing about in your State of the Union, supporting Syrian rebels is there, but immigration, overhauling the tax system, raising the minimum wage. You brought up the issues yourself.
Exactly.
That was with a Democratic Senate. So that's why you look at this and you sit there and say, how does things change? And do you think your presidency's in bigger trouble then if you have a Republican Senate?
Well, here's the issue. I think elections matter. I think votes matter. And given the fact that the punditry overwhelmingly felt that this was going
You're overly
to be
pointing at me.
that this was going to be a good year for Senate Republicans because the seats that were up were in states that were tilting or significantly with significant Republican majorities. If Democrats hold the Senate, I think that should get Republicans to once again.
I think that sends a national message.
I think what it does is to send a message to Republicans that people want to get stuff done, that their strategy of just obstructing and saying no to every piece of legislation that might help middle-class families, that might create ladders of opportunity for people, that is an agenda that the American people reject. And that then gives us room, hopefully, to find some compromises. Look, I've said this before, Chuck. You know, if you ask me back in August what I want for my birthday, I'd say give me a loyal opposition that has some common sense and is willing to work on some basic issues that didn't used to be partisan issues. It didn't used to be that building roads, bridges, improving our airports, improving our water systems, reducing traffic, those didn't used to be partisan issues. They have become partisan issues because you've got a small portion of the Republican Party that is fixated simply on dismantling government or making sure that we don't get anything done around here. And that's why elections matter. If that approach is rejected, then you possibly have 2 years where we can get a whole bunch of stuff done. And the good news is that despite all that obstruction, America's made progress. You've heard me speak on the stump about this, Chuck. The fact of the matter is that on almost every economic index that you can think of, America's better off now than we were 5 years ago.
Not a boom yet.
It's not a boom.
Middle America's not feeling a boom.
Absolutely, and that shows that we've still got more work to do. But we've cut the deficit by more than half. We have made sure that manufacturing is stronger than it's been any time since the 1990s. We've got an auto industry that is booming. We've got a housing industry that is recovering. We've got people's 401ks healthy again because of the rise in the stock market. Corporate profits have gone up. We have seen unemployment go down, not as far as it needs to, but going down. Our energy production is unparalleled. We've never been better positioned for American leadership economically as well as from a national security standpoint as we are right now. The question is, do we take advantage of that? And we can take advantage of it if we can just get the Republican Party to stop tilting towards the extreme, move back towards the center, and work with Democrats, not on everything, we're going to disagree on many things, but on some basic things that we know would help the American people.
Not surprisingly, I'm getting a little bit of the high side, so let me get you to this last question here. I've had former aides of yours, plenty of supporters of yours, say to me, he looks exhausted. And understandable, a lot going on. Yeah. This has not been a rough year. Are you exhausted?
You know, I actually feel energized about the opportunities that we've got, there are days where I'm not getting enough sleep because we got a lot on our plate. You know, when you're president of the United States, you're not just dealing with the United States. As we saw during the NATO summit, if there's a problem in Ukraine, we're the ones who are expected to mobilize the world community to isolate Russia, put pressure, support Ukrainians, and to vindicate the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity and freedom that we stand for. If there's a problem in the Middle East, the expectation is that we create the coalitions to deal with a problem like ISIL. If there's an issue in Africa around Ebola, we need to help mobilize that public health infrastructure. And so, you know, it's not just me, it's my staff also, that where, you know, our inbox gets pretty high.
Do you think you need to rotate? You need to rotate some fresh ideas, some new people in here?
Well, no, actually, my folks are doing really well. But having said all that, despite all those challenges, it is invigorating to see how much U.S. leadership is still appreciated and still expected. You know, when I came back from Wales, I was reminded once again that not only is America the only indispensable nation, but we perhaps have never been more indispensable, and our leadership is making a difference, and that gives you a lot of satisfaction. That keeps you getting up, even if you haven't gotten as much sleep as you want.
I got asked during that vacation, you made the statement on Foley, you went and golfed. Do you want that back?
You know, it is always a challenge when you're supposed to be on vacation. Because you're followed everywhere, and part of what I'd love is a vacation from
you want us to stop following
the press, and because
I promise you in 2.5 years,
yeah,
I think that happens.
Because the possibility of a jarring contrast, given the world's news, is always there's always going to be some tough news somewhere, is going to be there. But there's no doubt that after having talked to the families, where it was hard for me to hold back tears listening to the pain that they were going through. After the statement that I made, that I should have anticipated the optics. That's part of the job, and I think everybody who knows me, including I suspect the press, understands that you take this stuff in, and it's serious business, and you care about it deeply. But part of this job is also the theater of it. Part of it is, how are you? How are you? Well, it's not something that that always comes naturally to me, but it matters, and I'm mindful of that. So the important thing is, in addition to that, am I getting the policies right? Am I protecting the American people? Am I doing what's necessary? And when it comes to the policies, when it comes to the actions we've taken, I have no higher priority than keeping the American people safe. I think I've done a very good job during the course of these last close to 6 years doing so, and I intend to continue to meet that responsibility and meet that duty for as long as I have the privilege of holding this office.
Well, I think I need to pre-book you for next week, because I got about another 35 questions to do.
I appreciate it.
But with that, I will leave it there. Mr. President,
Thank you
very much.
Enjoyed
for
it.
coming on Meet the Press.
Great to see you.